What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Jackal Gold Games, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I'm looking forward to the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. So Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster is a remake, kind of a remaster of the first Dead Rising game. Now, I technically did do a video already on this game, but it was on my old original channel, JackalGoldKick, so I don't cover gaming on there anymore. I decided to cover gaming on this channel that's centered around gaming. And plus, that video I did do about Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster was only about the announcement trailer. Since then, there's been more footage revealed of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, so I'll have more to talk about. But yeah, before I get into my thoughts on why I'm looking forward to Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, I want to say that I'm a big Dead Rising fan. I own Dead Rising 1 on Xbox 360. Great game, one of my favorite games of all time. This is still the best one in the franchise. I also own Dead Rising 2 on Xbox 360. Not as good as the first one, but still a pretty good sequel. I also own Dead Rising 2 off the record, which I don't have the disc anymore. It's a long story that involves an ex-friend. I do like this, but I still prefer Dead Rising 2 Chuck's version. But I know a lot of people prefer this and like this because they didn't like that Frank wasn't in part 2 when Chuck was in there. That didn't bother me personally, but it's a good game. It's a shame the remaster on next gen is digital only. And then I have Dead Rising 3 on Xbox One, which I don't like this game. I think this is when the series went downhill. I think 4 is the worst one still, but I dislike Dead Rising 3, that's for sure. And then I have the remasters of Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2 on PS4, which this is a remaster that's mostly good, but this one, not so much, because there's game crashes on PS4. So I'm a big fan of the Dead Rising series. I used to own Dead Rising 4, but I traded it in. It's not really that good of a game. It's the worst one in the series. At first, it was kind of fun, but it eventually got old and boring. So, and then I also like Dead Rising 2, Case West, and Case Zero. Forgot to mention those as well. They're really good games. It's just a shame they're digital only. They need physical editions one day. But yeah, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Let me get the first game out since we're talking about the first game, because this game is great. And what's crazy is I remember making a video a while back talking about why this should get a remake. And here it is getting a remake. So some dreams and wish lists do come true. And I think from what we have seen and more of the footage I've seen from the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, this new edition of this game, it looks very faithful. They're keeping all the survivor models the same. A lot of the zombie models look really good and they look the same as the original. They're doing a good job at the design of Frank West, the design of Brad, the design of Isabella, the design of Jesse. The location and the mall itself looks intact. They're keeping the same animations from the original, which is really cool. I like how for a minute you saw like the convicts and there was some dialogue box that popped up. That was pretty cool. The UI that we are seeing looks pretty cool. I think it's looking like a pretty good version of this game, and it's really seeming like a faithful version of Dead Rising 1, which I'm glad about because I think this was really their best call and best move to do with the Dead Rising series because before this, the last Dead Rising game was Dead Rising 4 in 2016, and that was a very bad game. Most people hated it. It flopped. It just wasn't really a good game, and it really hurt the Dead Rising series. So this is a good way, I think, to revive the Dead Rising series, taking the first game in the series that's loved a lot and has a popular main character that people love the most in the series, and bringing it back. Now, I do have some critiques with the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. First being is that I still wish that Terrence J. Ruotolo was voicing Frank because he is such an iconic voice actor for Frank West, and I really wish they would have used him. It seems like they didn't even reach out to him because somebody asked him on Instagram and he said that they were asking him about the game and they said that he wasn't reached out to do the voice actor. Now, to be fair, I am going to give the new voice actor for Frank West a benefit of the doubt and I'm going to give him a fair chance. And I'm going to, I'm going to go into the game with an open mind. I'm going to give him a fair chance. I hope he's a good voice actor. It's just I wish we could have had Terrence Rotolo. Now, there's two reasons that's possible for why they didn't use Terrence Rotolo. One of them that one of my online friends, Ate, who covers Dead Rising on his channel, he said that it's because they're doing fully voiced Survivor AI. But at the same time, couldn't they just have Terrence Rotolo record new lines and still make this work? That's something I thought about. But another reason that I think it's possible they're not using Terrence Rotolo for Frank is that there's this thing in voice acting called union non-union. There's some people that are a part of a company called union, and then some people that are non-union. And non-union voice actors, you don't have to pay them as much as union voice actors. And I was hearing from certain interviews I listened to of certain voice actors that work with Capcom that Capcom is starting to use more non-union voice actors, and I think Terrence Rotolo is a union voice actor, so that could be why he wasn't chosen for this game. It could be, but it's just a possible theory I'm throwing out there. But this new version of Dead Rising 1 looks really cool. It looks very faithful. Graphically, it looks amazing. They're using the RE engine, and it looks pretty cool in the RE engine. I'm glad the color's in there. I'm really glad they're keeping that because Dead Rising's all about that color. I didn't like how in 3 they got rid of the color. And RE engine at first didn't have a lot of color in it, so I'm glad to see that this engine is improving. The gameplay looks really good. The gore looks really good. The models of the zombies and survivors and a lot of the characters look really good. Most of the voice acting seems pretty good too. It's just I'm still just hoping that this new voice for Frank is really good because I still think they could add Terrence Rotolo, but I'll give this guy a new fair shot to be fair. And I think the design of Frank West looks good. I think it's cool how we see a shot of the security room and they actually fixed something that I think was an issue with the original game. Because in the original Dead Rising, every time you brought survivors back to the safe house, the security room, there would be like only one way to get up to the air duct, and a lot of the survivors would get stuck there, and you have to move them individually because of the AI. Well, in this one, they put a walkway there, and I think that was a nice change. It's also going to be interesting to see maybe how they do the Otis thing, if they're going to do it like off the record, where you just have like a Bluetooth or something that's automatic, where you just automatically hear what Otis says, and you can still do gameplay. I imagine that's maybe something they'll do. I still hope there's challenge though in this version of Dead Rising 1 because they said they implemented autosave features because of how crushing and, challenging and damaging the save system could be in the original. But I still hope this is a challenging version of Dead Rising 1 where survivors are still hard to rescue, the psychopaths are still hard to fight, zombies are a struggle to get through. I still hope the challenges remain intact. I don't want it to be dumbed down too much or casualized too much. Or at the very least, hopefully there's an option to select a mode where we can have that difficulty option and you can have a less, I guess, an option for people that don't want as much of a challenge. I don't know if that's even possible, but I hope the challenge of the original remains intact. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with this game story wise. Like if they'll do more with Brock, if they'll do more with Dr. Barnaby, Carlito, if we'll see some of the stuff from the beta implemented, like the cut DHS character. The cult was supposed to be involved more with the story. The story mode was supposed to have more days in it, so we could see that. Hopefully, we can see Willamette Town itself and we get to explore it. That would be pretty cool. I wonder if they'll have combo weapons in this game, though, because we didn't see them in the trailer. I kind of think they shouldn't, honestly, because what makes the first Dead Rising game really good and special is that you have all these weapons you can use, and with the combo weapons added in the later games, it kind of dumbed down the regular weapons. So I don't think, or I don't know if they'll have combo weapons in this version of Dead Rising 1, but if they do, I think they should find a way to where they can be in there, but it's like limited. I don't know, because if there's combo weapons, I'm worried about it dumbing down the regular weapons. Hopefully, the boss weapons are still in there, and yeah, it just looks like a very faithful version of Dead Rising 1. And then one of the other critiques I do have is that the security room looked way more dark than the original. I think that has to do with the RE engine. Hopefully that's fixed with the final game, but it looked a little dark in there because of the RE engine. They did, from what I know, they have implemented one of the beta features. Like apparently Frank's design in Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster is more based on his beta version is, I guess, what I can tell. Another change in this game is that the psychopath Larry Chang looks way different in this one. And I actually think his new design's pretty good. I actually maybe would say it's better than his original design because he looks more like a butcher in this game compared to the original. Now, you had some idiots making videos talking about how Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster is woke because they changed Larry Chang's design. But if we really think about this logically, number one, I don't know if I can find the screenshot for this, but back in the 2000s, around the time Dead Rising 1 came out, there was some stuff going on where Capcom was protesting against China or somebody, and them making Larry the way he was in the original game is why they did that. And since they're not protesting against him anymore, that's why his design looks different. I found that out from an online friend of mine, A-Taste. Shout out to him for that source. And plus, it's just a revamped character design. It's nothing more than that. I'm pretty sure he's still going to be his nationality from the original. I think the woke stuff is stupid. It's gotten out of hand, honestly. I used to be a part of the woke crowd and think everything was woke in video games. I used to watch YouTubers like that, but I just came to realize how stupid it was. And, you know, I don't know, like maybe something like the movie Ghostbusters 2016, maybe that could be considered woke. I don't know, but I think the woke thing has just got out of hand because anything now with black characters or gay characters or just anything like that that isn't like a straight white character or whatever the case, it's like it gets called woke, and I just think it's getting stupid. I think it's just getting crazy, and I feel like a lot of these people that partake in that are secretly like racist and homophobic and transphobic themselves. Because why else would they take an issue with these kinds of people, the characters being in their video games? It's like these kind of people exist in real life, so what's the problem with them being in a video game? And some other stuff I've seen that was stupid, like one of them saying, "Oh, Larry Chang making him a white guy and he's evil villain." It's like these people clearly haven't played Dead Rising. The villain of Dead Rising is a Mexican guy named Carlito, so that was stupid for them to say. And plus, he could still be his nationality, but just mixed with American. And then another thing I thought was stupid is that some people were calling the game woke because they're censoring some of the sexual stuff in it. They're toning down the cleavage, and it's like you people have not played Dead Rising clearly, and it shows. Why? Let me talk about this. Dead Rising 1 on the Xbox 360 in the US back in the day, this was the only version in the US that was uncensored. Every other area, like Japan, the gore was censored somewhat. And then in the UK, the PAL version, they censored some of the sexuality on like a certain tank top you would wear and a cardboard cutout. And guess what? That's what they implemented for the remaster of this game. So the toning down or cleavage thing, I mean, it happened back in the day, so this is nothing new. And plus, I don't really see how it's a big deal. I honestly think people that have an issue with sexuality being toned down in video games secretly have a porn addiction, or they don't know they have a porn addiction, because that's something I struggle with. And I've been sober from it for a while and doing my best to stay away from it. And I'm actually glad this new version of Dead Rising 1 is toning the sexuality down because I don't have to worry about seeing that stuff as someone trying to stay away from it. Resident Evil 4 Remake toned it down and people call it woke. It's stupid. I don't really see the issue with there being less of a sexual thing. The world is way too sexualized as it is any fucking way. So I think that's stupid as well, especially if you do your research and realize that there was censorship even back in the original in other areas, and then they implemented that in the remaster, the PS4 edition. Hell, even GTA San Andreas had censorship. Back in the day, there was supposed to be some sex stuff with CJ and a girlfriend, and they took it out of the game, and that was back on the PS2, you know? So I think the whole woke thing, all that shit is stupid. People saying they ain't buying the game because of it, you're stupid. I don't get people, like that shit is just dumb. But yeah, overall, I think this new version of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster looks really good. It looks like a faithful version of the original, and I look forward to playing it. It's a shame the physical edition for this game isn't coming out till November. I don't know why they're doing that. It's coming out in September, but the physical isn't until November. I don't know why they're doing that. I guess one of the only positives of that is maybe we'll actually get the patches on the disc since it's coming out after the digital version, hopefully. And I need to get an Xbox Series X for sure because I do want to play this when it comes out. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a faithful version. Gameplay looks great. Gore looks great. Graphics look great. It looks great in the RE engine. Glad a lot of the survival models are the same. Zombie models look good, and a lot of them are the same. A lot of the areas look the same, but done well, redone up in new graphics. And Joe and Adam, a lot of these psychopaths have their same original character models, except for like Larry, who had a new one, which looks pretty good, honestly. And it'll just be interesting to see what else they implement in this. It just looks really good, and I'm looking forward to this. And hopefully, this game does well because another thing I look forward to, if this does well, I really want to see them do this with Dead Rising 2. Like, if when Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster comes out, hopefully it does well, it's received well, and it's sold well, which I think it will be, because the fact that Dead Rising was able to get another chance and come back after what happened with 4, I think this series is pretty safe to say here, especially if they're doing a new version of 1. But I would love to see them do this next after the first one, especially because I do like this game, but I think it could have been better because the original version of Dead Rising 2, in my opinion, looks better than what we got. Originally, they were making this in the MC Framework engine, the same engine as Dead Rising 1. But then they started to make it in a different engine, which is this engine. And the original just looked so much better. The design of Sullivan was better in the original. He was chubby, he was balding hair, he just looked better. The twins looked gothic in the original, and they just looked more interesting, and they looked more like Dead Rising 1 type stuff. And then in this game, the final one, they made them generic looking clubbing chicks. And I liked how there was more detail in the zombie models in the original. A lot of the Fortune City and Silver Strip outside looked way better lighting wise. Well, they decided to put more zombies on screen, which degraded the quality of things. They didn't listen to all of Keiji Inafune's story ideas, and certain characters like Rebecca Chang and the twins, I feel like were underdeveloped. So I would love to see them after this is done, if they can, do a new version of this, fix the issues with this, implement a lot of the original ideas from the original two, and just actually make this surpass the first one. That would be cool to see because that's what sequels are supposed to do. And then if it goes on from there, it'd be cool to see it with Off the Record, somehow incorporate Case West, Case Zero. How you'd like to see them do it with do this with Dead Rising 3, make this an actual good game. Do it with Dead Rising 4, make it an actual good game. That'd be really cool to see. But yeah, this is coming out for Xbox Series X, PS5, PC, this Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Looking forward to it. Hopefully it's really good. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about it. I don't think there's anything else that I can think of covering about it. Looks promising. I also wonder how they're going to do the music. I saw something about this online, but it would take me too long to Google it. But it would be curious to see how they do the music and the songs they implement with Psychopaths. Let me know what you think of this game and how it looks in the comments below. But that's it for my video. Peace out.